Now we want to get the global store's product data in the purchase component. To get the data, we will use the useSelector hook, which belongs to React Redux library. We can also make use of another hook, that is useStore. But the useSelector will get the specific data instead of entire store access. So here I am using the useSelector hook. If you are using the class component, then you have to use the connect method. We will also have a look at it, as to try it, I will have to convert the component into a class component. So later we will see that as well. The syntax is really very simple. If this is the state and we want to get products data, then we can just write const and the products is equal to useSelector. Now inside the useSelector you have a function where the state is passed, and you just have to return the individual data pieces. For example, here I want the products, so I'm going to say state.products. This also means if you want cart data or total data, it will be something like this. So let's do the same in the code. At the moment, you see that the data is still getting displayed, but this is the local data. So the moment I remove the local data, let's say I just remove this piece of data and I save it, and let's check the output again. Now you don't have any data here. I want to make the global store data, that is this data, available in the purchase component. So the very first thing I need to do is import the useSelector. And now just observe this. Instead of this array, I will simply use the useSelector hook, which will have a function. So the state is passed, but because with an arrow function you can avoid the brackets if there is a single parameter, and I just return the state.products. That's the array we have here in this store, isn't it? This products we should get here. Now let me just save and check the output. So again we have the data loaded. Let me also confirm this by changing some records here. Let's say I will add another value. I'll say pname. I'll say, for example, mango, and the price 45. I'll just save this and go back to the output to check whether we have the mango available in the list or not, and you see that we have the mango added. This shows that the store data is now global, is now available in the purchase component. So in the same way, we can configure the cart and total for the component, though cart and total values are updated on the event that we will discuss later on. But let me just add the useSelector here. So I'll say import useSelector from React Redux, and instead of this cart, I will say useSelector state, which will be returned. I'll say state.cart. This is the value we have in the global store. Let me just show you that again. Here I open the store.js and you see that we have products, cart and total, right? So here in the cart, I take that cart here. It will work when the cart will be updated. And the same we try with the total component as well. So here also I'm going to use the useSelector. I'll say import useSelector, and here also the same thing, state and state.total. So this means now all the components are having the Redux global store value locally available in the respective variables or constants. As long as the cart and the total data is concerned, the architecture of application is such that when the product is selected, the cart values are updated and the total is also updated. When the product is selected, the product is added to the cart and total is updated. And we actually dispatch the action to deal with the events, and that's going to be the next section. Now let's also talk about a relative question. The question is, explain the difference between useStore and useSelector hooks. I will simply quote the text from official site rather than explaining about useStore. This is how we use the useStore. And this hook returns a reference to the same Redux store that was passed into the provider component. This hook should probably not be used frequently. Prefer useSelector as your primary choice. However, this may be useful for less common scenarios that do require access to the store, such as replacing reducers. Now, this statement from the official site makes sense, and you can understand that you do not need the entire store at every component level. So generally we use the useSelector to have a better performance. As long as useSelector is concerned, you already have seen we can use it like this to get the store data.